first, let me just go ahead and start with the the Big Thompson Canyon. You're starting to see some of the pictures up there. You know, yesterday and this morning we talked about the fact that at mile marker 82 it washed out. Let me just tell you, Big Thompson, an elevated structure, it is decimated in most areas. It truly is. There are pieces of it there, but a lot of that's just gone. But once you get up past the Narrows and it widens out, that area in there, when we came through, the Black Hawk that's out was doing rescue flights out of there, and pleasantly to my surprise, there's buildings standing. It didn't just wipe that area out. They were actually landing on the roadway in that widened area. There were structures still, you know, at least from the air, relatively intact in there. So, you know, a concern I had was that might have just been wiped out. I didn't see that. With that said, as we flew Big Thompson Canyon, I can't tell you how many structures I saw destroyed. There were certainly a lot of them that are still there. However, the road's just not there in a lot of areas. And that just runs throughout. There'll be parts where you may have a mile or two of road, and then just big sections where it's gone. Maybe a lane is washed off, and then there's other areas. It's just washed to the bedrock. It didn't exist from what you can tell in there. When we got up into Drake, the firehouse is still there. The community building next to it is still there. And that's a relief because I knew we had people sheltering there. We had fire personnel. But along that Big Thompson Canyon all the way up, you're going to have areas, there's people, there's homes. How we're going to get them out, this is just going to take a damn long time. From there, going up to Estes Park, it was similar. For that last section up. At 10 miles, there's sections it's there, sections it's not. I did do some recon photography that we're going to have people going over to determine more, but once we got to Estes Park, and when you fly into the canyon or into the Estes Valley, you see brown mud. That's Lake Estes. Absolutely nothing looked bad about the dam up there, but there's just a lot of water and a lot of mud up in there. From that point, we went along Fish Creek Road. Fish Creek Road is washed out in significant areas through there as it cuts across from Highway 36 up to Highway 7, big chunks out of there. Evaluate what that means. Pleasantly, to our surprise, it looked as if Mall Road between 34 and 36 actually is still there and is passable. I saw vehicles traveling that. We went up Highway 7. That's one of the concerns is since I don't know how long it's going to be for 34, but it just basically needs to be rebuilt for 17 miles, more or less. But as you go up Highway 7, there's the rock cut around mile marker 4 or 5, somewhere below Lily Lake. There's a bit of a washover there. We'd heard about something. It didn't look like that was gone, but it certainly had some problems. And then when you got past Lily Lake, between there and Wind River Ranch, to the best of my recollection, and I saw so much that I'm trying to remember it all, I believe there was one lane that was gone for a section of that roadway before you got to Wind River Ranch. And then you looked up at Wind River Ranch and Aspen Lodge on the east side. For those who've been around for years, you may remember back in the 80s, there was a blowdown above Aspen Lodge. A bunch of trees were down. It appears to me there was so much water coming down there. It was mud, but it reminded me of an alluvial fan, the way it came down. Mud and water into the buildings of Aspen Lodge. I did not see any of them wiped out, but it had poured in through there. I have a recollection, I believe there may have been some sections of road missing along there. I don't think completely gone, but I believe there may have been a lane gone. From that area, we got down to about the county line. We turned to the east along Cabin Creek Road because we wanted to catch back in and drop in to Big Elk Meadows. We got to Big Elk Meadows. As we came in from the west, obviously you can see the dams that are gone, and it washed out from that series of reservoirs or lakes that were there. Looking a quick flyover of Big Elk Meadows, most of the structures appeared to be there because they were kind of up and around and above the lake. Are there some that may be gone? Yeah. I was happy to see the firehouse intact up there. I saw the medical landing zone still intact there. But as that road, which is known as County Road 47, Big Elk Meadows Road, goes out, there's a lot of it to the western side, just outside the gates, that's there because the creek actually goes off to the north in there. But once that creek comes back and follows the road, massive destruction in there. I have no idea how they're going to get back in there as far as a road anytime in the near future. We saw significant numbers of washouts throughout that part, clear up to the point when you get back to Highway 36. We hit Highway 36. We turned to the south. We turned towards Pinewood Springs. Once again, as you make that turn, there's that sheer rock wall. Significant portions of that are gone of the highway there because of the water that came through. That was some of the stuff that came out of Big Elk Meadows. But that bridge, as you go into Pinewood Springs from the north end, that was still there. It appeared to be intact from the air, from what I could see. We flew down Pinewood Springs a little bit, and I'm trying to recall if that's May, but the main road that goes through, there's a part where it goes across that creek. That's gone. That section's gone. So there's people in the back end that are cut off from the front end. From there we turned, we came back up, we started 36 back down. 36 going back down towards Estes. There were washovers here and there. To the best of my recollection, it's just that Meadowdale area where before you get to Pole Hill Road, I believe there was sections of a lane out, but there was still road. So it appears that from basically mile marker 10 or 11 back to Estes Park, passable. Is the road in bad condition? Absolutely. But passable back down to Estes. So that gives you a recap of that Estes area. We didn't get a chance to fly all the other stuff. There's numerous things. People were cut off in multiple areas there. We went back down by Glen Haven. From the air, and this is a quick assessment, it looks like County Road 43 makes it up to the switchbacks and probably even down the switchbacks, with certainly some degradation in the switchbacks. There were some problems, but the switchbacks appeared to be there. Just below the switchbacks, there's a blue log building, used to be called the something Stallion. Below there, that's where you run into the problems of County Road 43. For those that know the area, yeah, there's that creek's running crazy in there. And for those that know the general store in Glen Haven, that building stands. I think there's probably significant damage as that water goes behind it. But once you get past that part, from there to Dunraven Glade Road, there's less road existing and there is gone in my assessment coming through there. That area it's really decimated. There's a lot of residences around it. There's no road to them. From there, things looked okay. I don't recall